what's up.
Yeah,
It's
man.
working.
Yeah, it's real.
Took a minute.
I'm the same way, man. Got to see the number rolling over.
I don't know what that, brother.
Oh, we're going now.
I'm Jared.
I am Josh. It's good to be here, my brother.
What's going on?
Not a whole heck of a lot, man.
Man, people were freaking out last night, and I was right surprised as the Miami, Florida game's going off. I switch it over to Sports Center, and they're having this meltdown about the Andrew Luck retirement. And the way the people in Indianapolis were treating this dude, it's like he was a bust or something. That's far from it.
I completely agree. I thought that Indy acting like Philly was really downright silly. That's my poem on the subject. And I mean, hey, if you want to be like that and you want to be children and, you know, pound your fist on the ground, it's fine. Whatever, man. But
yeah, they would short of burning the jerseys in the stadium.
It's ridiculous. It's like, man, the guy's been injured for 4 years in a row now. I think that the foresight the kid showed when he was, I mean, because remember, when he was a junior in college, he'd been the first pick then. Yeah. And he was like, nah, man, I want to walk with my class, man. I want to graduate with these people, man. So he went back and pulled a Tim Duncan.
He never needed it financially to do it anyway. It's like, why would I only going to get one chance to do this?
Absolutely, man. I can't come back. So it's like, that's real cool to get your last season to play. And it's like, it's somebody that's thoughtful. And that's cool. And he's, like you said, he's in the position to where he can be. And that's really good. So, yeah, man, you stay injured and stay in rehab and stay trying to come back. And it's like, man, I got kids and I got wife and kids. I got stuff we want to do. I want to see the world. I'm going to go do it. I'm like, good. I'm totally with you. Anytime anybody leaves the NFL before 30, I'm thrilled. I wish everybody would do that. Wish everybody could do that.
Start realizing, man, there's too much other stuff I can go do.
It's completely true.
And, you know, just go while you still can. You start to realize, you know, there's another life out there. And somebody who thought you were just guaranteed to bring us a Super Bowl because he's going to replace Peyton, and it didn't happen. But I think a lot of that reaction just comes from them knowing that they've got a really good team, but without him, they really don't have much to go with. So I think they'll regret that reaction. But you know, I've been there.
I'm thinking that I didn't see it or anything. I'm like, there's a very good chance it's like 9 people being pricks, and so it's like now we're killing all of Indy for it. But I don't know what they got. I just don't know. I know what they haven't had his entire damn career is anybody to keep him upright because he gets hit all the time. Yeah. But I'm totally on anybody's side that it's just one of those situations. Like, in my opinion, this may be oversimplified, but anybody retiring from the National Football League, especially young, that's like somebody getting out of a bad relationship. That is a terrible company. They treat all their employees like absolute trash. So, hey, man, if you were smart enough to save your damn money and you can leave, good for you, man. Good for you. Because no one, well, you just got to play for the love of the game, man. Listen, competition is an addiction. It's not like that love of the game crap. That's for us fans. Yeah. The people that play it professionally, there are plenty of people. There's dudes that are huge psychotic fans, love it. That's great. But it is not everybody because the odds of having just the genetics to play pro football. You do not have to be hardwired to love it, man. It's something that you do because you can do. It's like being a surgeon. You know what I'm saying? Being a surgeon, man, that is an insane skill. That's a crazy, you know, level of skill. So if you learn that you can do it and make a crap ton of money at it, okay. But you can be dispassionate about it as long as, hey, man, if you can do it, you can do it. But I just, y'all, if y'all watch the show, you know I used to be a huge college football fan, but I'm done with that now too. But Andrew Luck, I always liked the guy. And Richard Sherman was real cool going to bat for him today because I'm pretty sure that they played together at Stanford. I know they're both Stanford guys.
It's close to the same time.
Yeah, I think there was an overlap. So it's like, that's cool, man. But yeah, Indy, I'll let you off the hook whenever you guys are, you know, if you apologize, you're off the hook. But, you know, until then, don't beat Philadelphia. Philadelphia does that stuff because it's fun. They're hilarious with how ridiculous they are with stuff.
It's pretty loud chorus of boos that what was unfair about it was he knew it was coming. He lets the team owner and management know, and he's on the sidelines. And Adam Schefter, as usual, runs and has to be the first one to tell everybody. So the story's breaking as the game's going on, and he has no idea. He's walking off. They're like, "No, you need to go do this. The press conference was set up to be done today. That we need to go do this now." He's like, "Y'all, I haven't even shaved my neck beard. But I was going to have a suit on, and my neck beard was going to be gone. Now I got to go in front of all these cameras looking like this." And that's one of his opening remarks was, "Sorry, Mom, for looking like this." But
kind of got jammed into it because what can I say? ESPN owns all of us.
Yeah.
But that was
they suck.
oh God, oh my God, talk about a bad relationship.
But they get people on camera taking jerseys off, and just the reactions to people looking at their phones and like freaking out and like, yeah, the timing of it just kind of sucked. But I think he had an idea and probably let management know, like, I'm going to give this a go in the preseason. Have somebody ready.
Yeah.
But they were trying to draw comparisons to, like, when I was in high school, Barry Sanders abruptly just said, "F this noise." And same team, Calvin Johnson, didn't have a better experience than Barry did. It was like, you know what, these people just don't care enough, so why should I? And but that's what they were comparing it to, and it's not exactly the same situations, but best. But I couldn't come up with a better one. So that people that would be on that level. I mean, there's been other guys leave abruptly, and recently there was that dude in San Francisco, but it's like it wasn't news making Andrew Luck style. So, but it was just one of those kind of things that I think he knew it was coming, but it caught me off guard because I was like, well, you know, but good for him for doing it.
I completely agree. I always like it whenever things like that happen. I read this comment. This was great, man. Somebody just, different post on this stuff. Andrew Luck announced retirement, la-di-da. Some dude got in there. I'm so proud of this. I'm proud of the kid for this. Got in there and he left the comment, #Woj bomb. I'm like, that's awesome, man. Yeah. That's just great. Yeah. But everybody, the long faces at ESPN, because they actually had to, they actually had to lift a finger to get it out there. And like you said, they wound up shanghaiing the guy, but hey man, ain't no loyalty, it's fine. Yep. But I'm happy for him. It's totally cool. I'm hoping that it seems to me, because I'm with you with the whole like, well, if he knew he was going to retire, he should have said something before the draft. And see, I'm totally with you. I think it's the leg thing. I think it's just the latest chapter. It's not like the shoulder was going to have him retire. He wasn't even thinking about this till this latest setback. And it's like, I'm not doing this a fourth year. Screw that. Yeah. So good for him for getting his signing bonus and getting himself taken care of. And hey, man, anytime anybody leaves the NFL before 30, I'm thrilled.
It's the whole week of Andrew Luck's gone and Disney trying to kill Spider-Man. I don't know what to do.
Man, I saw this picture of this kid just in a Spider-Man costume, probably some Dragon Con type thing. He's got his feet up on the balcony, just sitting there chilling. It was like Peter Parker mentally preparing himself to lose his Uncle Ben for a fourth time. Yep. So that's messed up.
Oh man, because that story broke, and it's like I still don't know who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. It's depending on who's telling the stories, who's really causing all this.
What's causing all this?
But I feel like it's going to get worked out, and it may be one of those Incredible Hulk deals where, like, look, well, go make your Spider-Man movies, and I never really did a review of Spider-Man Far From Home on this channel, but it was a nice enough movie. It was good, but one of the problems with the movie that I felt was it's way too much Fox influence because, and when I say maybe they'll work out an Incredible Hulk deal, because from what I understand is they can use that character in the movies, but he can never have his own movie under Disney. They're like, fine, that works out great. So maybe they'll cut a deal like that. Like, look, we're going to use Peter Parker in this character because we've already invested enough, and y'all go do whatever you want to with him, but just don't have it involved in our stuff, and everybody will be cool. I don't know. It just seems like people trying to hold out to, you know. I think Fox is in that kind of position where they feel like this is the only thing we've got going for us. We need to use drain every drop we can out of it, and see what we can get from them. But then at the same time, if some people telling the story, it feels like, you know, that kind of Darth Vader, Mickey Mouse head coming down. You know, Vader and Lando's brokering skills. Like, just don't make me change the deal any more than I have to.
That's the only thing I keep reading is that apparently the original deal Disney took like 5% of whatever the movie made, and now they want to tack 45 onto that and go to 50, and it's not. I mean, it's an unreasonable jump, no doubt, but I think with it's like, well, we're going to half, or we're walking, or I don't know if that's their take or if it's.
No, I don't know who's trying to spend that to make them look like the good guy.
And if Sony is, no man, you can take 5 or it's nothing. You know, I don't know which side has no negotiating. I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. It. No willingness to negotiate. Yeah. And I really don't care because Spider-Man's not my guy. And also, here's my main thing I told Jared earlier, and here's the facts.
We killed him before, we'll do it again.
Brother, if I got to give you back piddly-ass Peter Parker so I can get the X-Men in the MCU, no problem. I'll do it in a second. I'm just fine with that. Hell, you can have all of it. I'm an Avengers guy, but I've got the Avengers. They've done that. I'm set. I'm hooked up. I'm good as gold as far as the Avengers are concerned. So take the X-Men. And I would like for Thor to stick around. Just because, like we talked about, man, this has always been my opinion since I was a kid. I've always been more of a team book guy. But when you break them down, Cap's my favorite. He always has been. But the individual stories, Thor is so much better than any of them. I mean, he's just so interesting because there's nothing you can't do. I mean, with it being like godly and mythological, there's like a weird like space/science element. You can get science fiction, you can get fantasy. There's so many places. You can get medieval. There's been stories like it's so limitless what you can do with the stories you can tell with that guy. And so for the MCU going forward, and that is to say, if they don't just Shanghai the whole thing and turn it all over to the X-Men, because y'all, if you've seen the show before, you know that's been my thing with Scarlet Witch forever, is eventually they're going to wake her up and she's going to know more mutants the crap out of all of them, but it's going to be no more non-mutants or whatever. I think that's coming. I hope it's coming, and you can make it work with Spider-Man, but ultimately, the characters going forward, about the only ones I'm interested in, are the Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange, Thor, because there's just nothing you can't do with those characters. And Black Panther will be fun too. I think Black Panther will be fun. It's the ideas about the release date, but I don't know how much of that is accurate. I don't have any idea.
I don't know what to believe.
I don't either, and that's part of my thing also with the whole Sony Disney thing. It's just like, how do I not know this is tweet marketing, where you just want to take over the news cycle, so you put bull junk out there to get people talking.
Horse hockey.
Yeah, man. I just, I don't trust any of them. And it doesn't matter anyway, because everybody's going to it's too much cash. Everybody's going to wind up landing in the right spot.
Is this just a play for Sony to try to run that price up when Disney's going to buy you anyway?
Yeah, that's what it's looking like, seriously. How bad do y'all want Spider-Man?
and it feels to me like even when you go back to Homecoming, we're kind of peppered in the idea that and if Into the Spider-Verse, I haven't watched it, but I know enough about it to be like, we'll kill his ass anyway. We've got plenty of Spider-Mans that we could go use, but it feels like with Homecoming they kind of hinted at that notion of there's a Miles Morales out there, and with Far From Home anointing Peter Parker as being this heir apparent. I'm not down with that story anyway. So maybe we do need to kind of do a write ourselves out of that corner.
That's my thing, man. You have Wanda Maximoff. You have an instant retcon anytime you want it. Mm-hmm. I love that. But the mentioning Miles Morales and Gwen and Spider-Verse was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. So as long as they want to stick with that, because basically what Spider-Verse was is all the good things that we talked about. And I haven't seen this. It's just my favorite thing that you told me about it. But the notion of just all the Lego Batman just dovetailing at each other,
Yeah.
that's exactly the story they get. Man, Spider-Verse is really, really good.
When it comes to everything that came out of Homecoming, and once it, there's to me it feels like there's you can just feel it doesn't have some of the umph behind it that the other Marvel movies had.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, if they knew that they were borrowing this character, it's like, we're not going whole hog on this thing. It's just like, why in the world are we going to put max effort into 5%? It totally makes, I didn't know that either, but it makes perfect sense to me. Like, man, they're not going to bleed themselves and go buck wild crazy and make this thing and then have Sony be like, that's ours, we still have it. But should work that out to begin with. It's the same thing. It's why I'm so happy that with the exceptions, or with the one exception of Quicksilver, they never did that half-ass stuff with the X-Men. Thank God, because if you had started that and then couldn't finish it, that's a huge problem. That's a massive problem. So good for them for waiting. And now they, as far as I know, everything I've read is they point blank own the Fox library now, so they can do whatever the hell they want to with anybody in the X-Men movies, and that's that.
So that's good news.
I completely agree. As far as I know, that's done.
Like, you know, we had some plans for this character, and it sucks to change those plans, but we get stories for days and days and days and days and days with what we've got back from them. So
they good.
So take this character we sold off once. I'm gonna sell him again.
Seriously, it's fine. We'll make it work.
Good luck. You got J.K. Simmons playing J. Jonah again, but have fun with that. That's the only thing that came out of Homecoming worth a damn was that scene at the end. So I was like, you know, y'all can go still do that, but we're not gonna fit that bill. Y'all can go pay for that all you want to.
Yeah, totally. That's a big deal. But yeah, you can cross them all up, and that's great. It's cool, but you're right. It's like we're not paying all the bills for 5%. Forget it. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
But somebody made a great point about how the Disney trilogy for Spider-Man was Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man Homeless.
Yeah.
I mean, that's rough, y'all.
That was the best thing in Homecoming was Michael Keaton as the Vulture, and there's that scene, the scene of him and Peter in the car. Is I think this Disney just kind of looked at him and gave him that Michael Keaton line, like, "I'll kill everybody you love. Don't mess with my money."
Just so y'all know where I'm coming from.
Yeah. And so that, you know, remains to be seen what's going to happen with all that stuff.
I'm trying to think of the announcements for like the next phase and all that, because I'm just, like we said, man, I was cool with Infinity War being the end.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. I'm cool with Endgame being the end. That's cool, with the exception of WandaVision. But all that, as far as I know, all that takes place before anyway. So I'm really looking forward to that.
That was my other. This may be old news to everybody else. I just don't pay enough attention. But when they had D3 or D23, whatever the Disney Comic Con is, this past weekend, and some of the more of the news that got kind of laid out from that was just exactly what the Disney Plus means, because they're going to have the Disney app that has the $6.99 buy-in price, which, from what I understand, gets you probably everything that I'm going to want from it. Is all the new Marvel shows and the Mandalorian, and I'm good with that. I'll just pay my $7 and watch that. But the Disney Plus is you get the whole Disney library minus a couple maybe, plus Hulu, plus the ESPN's crap and all this other stuff. That like that's the Netflix $12.99 price. I can do without that. So I'm still an old man that buys vinyl and DVDs, Blu-rays, whatever. So I've got those, but yeah. So the Disney Plus being, you get all this other junk. I'm like, I can live without that. Just give me the shows, and I'll check those out as they come out, and just roll with it that way. But that might, people may have already known that's what that was going to be. I didn't realize that. So just seeing what came out in that announcement, I was like, well, I'll just go that route.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Tiers are really smart. It's very, very smart to do it that way and let people get what they want. That's all gravy. But yeah, all I need is just the hookup to watch Wanda and Vision, and I'm good. And I'm hoping, we've discussed it, and I would really be surprised if this wasn't the case, but I'm hoping that they'll like just release, boom, you're out.
Yeah.
It's all good because, I'm not paying you over and over and over again to get all the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to happen. And it's all good because we talked about this as well, man. That with the extra capital, man, it would not. I would actually be more surprised if they didn't do physical stuff. At least for, I mean, the Marvel stuff's a huge deal. So it's all good. I'll either pay you $7, watch it, and then cancel it, and because it's great. It's the cool thing about the demise of Blockbuster, is that YouTube TV, WWE Network, and I only use those as examples because I've actually done this. But you know how it is with WWE Network, man. If you want to watch WrestleMania, you sign up, you get it turned on, you can jump back on there immediately and cancel it, and you're good for the month. It'll just cut you off when the next billing cycle comes up, because once you've paid for the month, you get the month. That's again the Blockbuster thing, where you can't charge people over and over again. You can charge them the whole price again, but it's got to be for the same period of time that you let them have it for to begin with. It's like hotel rooms. So hotel rooms can't ticky-tack you to death, man. It's like you got the next day. You don't get punished for every hour past checkout that you stay.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I got way afield. Sorry about that. But I'm looking very forward to that show. And it seemed like there was another one too. And man, I don't remember what it was, but it was something else, comic book, Marvel related.
There's a Loki show, the WandaVision show, Hawkeye, and the Captain, whatever they're gonna do with Captain America, the Bucky and
oh yeah, that's right, that was it.
And Falcon show.
Yeah, Sam and Buck.
And then there was talk of Black Widow being a show, but I think that's gonna be the movie. So anyway, I'll check that out, and it'll be here soon.
Yeah, I think it's around the corner. I think you're right.
So I'm looking forward to that, and what all comes from that. And then I guess my other thing that I did this week that I can kind of talk about is went and checked out one of them rock shows.
Yeah, man.
One of your rock and roll shows, and it went a lot better than the last one I went to. Because there's so many venues in Atlanta that have changed names.
God, no kidding.
This past summer, because Chastain is something else that I can never remember the name of them.
Me neither.
The more they change, the more I forget what they were called the first time around.
with.
But I went to, it was the Verizon Wireless, called it the bullpen.
Called the bullpen.
Amphitheater. It's the Amherst Bank thing. The one in Alpharetta. It got me interested because it was Smashing Pumpkins are headlining, but then touring with them was AFI. I don't have to get there early for that. But it was Noel Gallagher and the High Flying Birds, and I was just, if you put those two together, like, okay, well, I'm there. I was just interested enough that I'd never seen either one of them. I was like, well, I've got to check those off the list. And but made it out there. It's just a super easy venue to get to and get out of. More than I remembered. Because I'd been there once before. I saw Willie Nelson and Alison Krauss there last summer. And
Allison came out and told y'all that Willie was gone, right?
Oh yeah, man, I was scared. I was scared of that. But who does that? You had Alison Krauss, who was there playing. Not only does the opening act very rarely do one of the headliner songs, but of all the songs, you're going to do Angel Flying Too Close to the Ground. And I was just certain that something had happened, and that Willie wasn't with us anymore. And this is how they were telling us, and I'm like, oh my god. But it turns out that wasn't the case. You know, thankfully. But I was nervous, like, and it was as it was happening. I'm like leaning over. And I'm like, do y'all think this is what they're trying to say? But I think everybody else going like, yeah.
I think that's it.
A very, very real possibility. And but that was an awesome night. And it's one of those kind of venues that is the beauty of it is its simplicity. It is literally a amphitheater right in the middle of Alpharetta, right next to North Point Mall. And one of the things that I don't know if it's a rule there, but it feels like it's a rule, is when they say the curfew is 11, that means you got to stop playing at 11. There's no encores. Maybe some bands have done it. The two times that I've been there, the cool thing about it is I like this for some reason. I like when the band says, "This is the last one we're going to do," and this is the last one we're going to do. There ain't no, "This is the last one we're going to do for 5 minutes, and then we're going to come back." No, they tell you that, and I just dug that because the first time I was there and Willie played, I thought, well, he just doesn't do that kind of thing. And then that was the vibe that I got seeing Pumpkins close the show. They were like, and maybe it was one or two songs before, but they were like, "This is the last one we're going to do." And when they finished playing that last song, it's like the kind of Billy does this kind of thing out at the front of the stage, and everybody does all their cheers. But as he's walking off, the lights are coming on, and they're like, "Get out!" And it's something about that I just like.
I do too. I'm not a huge encore after encore after encore kind of person.
It gets kind of overdone, and it feels like there's some bands that kind of milk that kind of weight, and like, why put people through that? But I just want to hear you come back out and do whatever song you forgot to do, and go home and say I saw it.
Yeah, do a set break. Set break's fine.
But didn't really know what to expect from Noel and his band, and it's really kind of a fun, kooky band to go see if they're coming to your town. Go, because I tried to find what band you could compare them to. There was that one band a few years ago. I don't even remember the name. It was like 1,000 people on stage because it is like you have Noel Gallagher out front with his Manchester City banner behind him, and like this big band kind of vibe going on behind him. They had a really cool lady singer singing with him, and just all kind of stuff going on. So not knowing what to expect, it was kind of what I expected. And they did in his set was the first 6 or 7. It's almost split in half. Like the first 6 or 7 songs are all their stuff, and then he does his little explanation of like, okay, now I'm going to do some of the old stuff because I get bored playing the old stuff because it's old, and I did not expect them to do any Oasis stuff, and sure enough, that's after that announcement they did a few Oasis songs, and then oddly enough, they did Wonderwall, something else, and Don't Look Back in Anger, and closed with All You Need Is Love, which was just a really cool way to close their part of the show out, and I dug that.
Yeah.
And part of the fun of going to any shows, Josh had to play this game with me. Is like, what are they going to open with game?
Love that game. I love the what they're going to open with. I don't think I've ever been right once, but I still like to play. Sarah McLachlan, I was right about that because everybody on Earth knew what she was going to open that tour with, but that's okay.
That's part of the fun of being wrong, because the few times I've been right was the times that I knew what was coming. Just with certain acts touring with the new record, will play those songs. You can kind of guess from
The
those.
new album. Yeah,
New
that's
album.
totally what it was with Sarah. It's like
Yeah.
she's touring behind surfacing, so it's gonna be
Yeah.
building a mystery. You know
Yeah.
that's gonna be first.
Yeah. And we saw Billy Joel, and I didn't know that he had basically opened with this song at every show since like '78 or whatever it is, and because my pick was Go to Extremes, and then I guess the guy in front of us kind of heard, so you're playing the what's he gonna open with game, and I'm like, yeah. He's like, and the thing about it was he didn't tell us what he's gonna open with. He's like, I can tell you he's not gonna open with that, and I'm like, okay, fine. Then he shows us like his ticket stub from like '80 whatever it was, but Billy always opens with this crazy. It's the best way I can describe it. Piano riff and goes into Angry Young Man.
Young Man, yeah.
So I know that now, but I've never seen them before, so it takes seeing them to kind of, know what they open with. And but anyway, I was close because me and the guy a few seats down were playing that game, and we both thought, well, they've got to open with zero.
Yeah, that's actually what I would have guessed too.
It's like, how do you not open with zero? They played that second. They opened with Today.
Okay.
I was like, that's pretty neat little swerve. They open with Today and then go right into Won't I Go For It? But I thought it was a cool way to do it. And one of the things that I've started doing on this channel that I wish I'd done for a while is, and it shows my skills as a movie maker. So we make movies. Is I've tried to find a way.
I'm in the entertainment business.
Yeah. Because there's a few times that I've gone to shows and it just gets tiresome holding up a phone to do video the whole time. Plus, it's kind of hard to hide what you're doing. I'm always afraid somebody's going to see you doing that and be like, that's not cool. You really don't need to video the performance. So what I'll do
You're
is...
going to anger Noel if you record the high-flying birds.
You know, I'm not, and I understand where that's kind of not kosher. As far as the heels, and even with doing what I do, you get these little emails from YouTube where they're like, "Hey, what are you doing there, brother?" I'm like, you're not going to be able to monetize this. So I can't monetize anything anyway.
That's
who
the
cares?
junk that makes me insane. It's like I just want it for me.
Yeah. So
I just want it for me.
So what you do is you hit audio record, put it in your pocket, and maybe I should just make those videos private where I just want to listen to the show again. If there's somebody out there that was there and wants to listen to it, then they can have it too. I don't think it's going to, if anything, it's probably going to make people want to go to the shows. I would hope. So I'm not trying to steal any music or claim I own it. Or I don't know what type of disclaimer you have to put up to make that okay. I don't think there is one that you could put up that anybody would be like, yeah, that's fine to do that. But what I tried to do with just trying to figure out how to put that together in a movie is when you go into iMovie, and maybe there's somebody that can tell me how to fix this. It's like you load the audio on your timeline, and I think, okay, well, I just want to put one photo to just play and just be the show. Well, when you do that, and you put the audio on the timeline and you load a picture, that picture's only going to play for about 6 seconds of whatever it is. So you have to basically hit revive, or I forget what term they use in iMovie, but basically you recreate that photo what feels like 1,000 times with the Hootie and the Blowfish show I went to. I had to do that over and over and over to get it to fill up the video portion of the timeline, so you get the Ken Burns going in and out kind of effect. So my bright idea with this time was like, okay, if you take like 28 pictures,
I was going to ask if it's...
load those and refresh that, will that at least make it a little bit easier to fill this timeline up? Because you have to, well, apparently, I thought that was going to work.
It's good thinking.
But you put the photos on there, and then when you go to hit refresh or whatever it says to put it on it just does the last photo that you picked. Like,
Oh, come on.
I thought it was going to do all of
For
them.
real, man.
So there has to be a way to get it to do that. I haven't found out how to do that yet. Nonetheless,
No cake for the Puritan.
no cake. So it's still like this bright idea I thought I had still didn't work. So dang it.
It's as far as like recording the audio and the way that you put them up,
Mm-hmm.
they're great. I absolutely love them because I'm with you. It's just fun to put it on and listen to the show. But I had no idea how you had done it or what technique it was. But I'm glad you brought it up because if you hadn't, I was going to have to say, man, like you said, people that went to the show want to hear it again, and those of us that didn't go to the show loved hearing it. So it was awesome. I appreciate it, man.
So I did kind of the audio for the first part of the Smashing Pumpkins set got kind of screwed up because you have to be real careful. Because I tested this, like, okay, can you have because my bright idea was I'm going to have like all these photos to do like a little photo montage throughout the show. And can you take photos while it's recording? Yes, you can. Just be real careful not to hit video while it's recording because that screws the whole thing up. So I think in the video that plays on this channel of the Smashing Pumpkins, they do open with
Zero.
with zero because I screwed up.
Because I want to be right.
Because I screwed up the first part of today. So that you kind of missed out on that because it's like. So guess what? I was right.
That's right. I told y'all.
But that's what I've been able to come up with keeping it and having it for myself, and it really didn't know what to expect as far as the crowd and stuff at the show because you kind of like but it was just super cool, and I like the fact that it's probably the closest to the Smashing Pumpkins lineup that you're ever going to get again because it wasn't Zwan and it wasn't any of the other. It was all the guys minus one back to do it. So for the most part, that it was the band, and I dug that part of it. And same thing, man. They played pretty much any and everything that you wanted them to do. And about midways during the show, they did a cover of Fire and Rain. That was really interesting and neat. And that was my thing is, if they're going to come out and do an encore, they'll probably walk off the stage and Billy will come out and do Landslide or something like that. And that didn't happen, so I was like, well, I didn't need it. So I was like, oh, that's cool. But I just like it. I think it's just something that they do at that venue where like, no encores, just end. And I like that.
I do too. I think it's cool. Mentioning Landslide, man, one of my favorite things about that cover is that it's Stevie Nicks' vocal, so the bar is high for uniqueness. Lindsey Buckingham's guitar, which means the bar is kind of high for uniqueness. And when you listen to that cover, it's one dude doing both of them, and it's like, God, that is so cool when you think about that somebody can actually do that. Like, oh man.
When you think of '90s guitar guys, I mean, there aren't many of them to speak of, but that band and Billy doesn't get the respect
never
for the musicianship.
Never, and really should have. Billy and Jimmy especially, man, because Jimmy. I was watching. There's a thing on. I think it's Watch Mojo. I'm sorry to say. I'm sorry to admit I watched anything on there, but it was they were counting down like the top albums by like one performer, and they picked Siamese Dream, and I'm like, that's a bit of a stretch because those drums are Jimmy Chamberlain. That is not one person. Billy does the rest of it, and it's amazing because Billy does the rest of it. But it's like, well, it's albums that most of the primary musicians or music was played by one person. I'm like, drums are pretty prime, man. That's not cool. So
that's the foundation.
Oh,
stuff.
Dude, Geek USA, man. There's one person on earth that can play that song, man. It's like that mess is awesome. They are. I totally agree. Yeah. One of the strange things, as far as like Billy as guitar player is I think that Billy Corgan almost more belongs in like heavy metal circles. I mean, that guy is really good, and no one else sounds like him. That's what I love about that is he's just out there playing strats and vintage stuff, but he just no one sounds like that. It's awesome. Anyway, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, that's just what I was just trying to get at. Is like it's easy to forget because he has that character of being the crazy frontman guy.
I'm the president of the NWA.
And it was kind of the same thing struck me the time I got to see the Rolling Stones. Is I had no idea that Mick even touched a guitar.
Oh yeah.
And he does it for a song or two, but when he does, like, man, this guy's a lot better than I realized it. And I knew Billy played, but to see it live, just really was floored. It's like, man, this guy's a way better musician than and I'm including myself in the people like, man, I didn't realize how good this guy was.
I can dig it because you're right that with like the frontman thing, you think of like singer. I totally get that because you're right. Whenever you like start doing the back catalog of Smashing Pumpkins and you listen to that stuff, like you said, it's not just that he plays the guitar; he is the guitar. Like even down to the fact that James Iha, the story goes that Billy taught him how to play to Dublin. So it's like he just wanted the bigger sound. So it's like, yeah, okay, cool. Here's what you do. All right, cool. Let's go play. And it's like that guy is overwhelmingly talented. He's like on that Reznor scale. Marilyn Manson gets thrown there a lot too, and I kind of resent that. I like Marilyn, but Marilyn is the front man. The musician in Marilyn Manson was Twiggy. That was who. I mean, it's interesting when you start looking at like writing credits and the stuff that I think Geordie White's his real name. Those guys were so smart, man. They like published all their songs like under their pseudonyms and their real names, so they got like it's like you get to double the points. It's like frequent flyer miles. Like, well, good for you guys.
Yeah.
But
Flying Colonel, baby.
yeah, for real, man. But it's Billy really is a staggering musician. It's crazy, and like you said, whenever you think about. If you just take Siamese Dream and then Melancholy and Infinite Sadness and realize that I think James Iha wrote 2 songs on Melancholy and that's it. That's it. Everything else is one dude. And so here's what we're going to do. And the drummer, the crazy drummer is like, sure, no problem.
Yep.
It's awesome, man. And all the cool stuff with the Pumpkins too, man, is their records that nobody likes are good. Adore is fantastic. Machines of God was pretty good.
They did some stuff off that I was surprised that they played. And it's just one of those kind of when that band was hot, it felt like all that music has to get discredited because it's new, and the people that were into it at the time were like, "You're just crazy." But I just to go, it was my first time ever seeing them, and I think that's leaving a show that's like my review is like, well, would you go see them again? And it's a definite yeah.
Yeah, man.
Heck yeah, I would go again. So I think that's the ultimate kind of. I don't know. It's not really. That's not the review of the show, but a compliment.
Yeah, there you go.
That I'm trying to get at is like, so hopefully it doesn't piss off anybody in the band that their videos are on this channel.
Their audio's out there.
Sorry.
I don't think I honestly don't think most people care. Some people do. It's all good. On that subject, man, this is something that is very torturous to me. Is the fact that not the fact, but part of it is a fact. You go in like Target and knock around the CD section because I'm with the man. I still like physical stuff. Like CDs, you almost have to buy from Amazon anymore because nobody carries anything. Yeah. But they've got like Prince compilations and stuff out, and I can't do it. I cannot do it. It's never been released. This is from the vault, and it's like he put it in there for a reason. If the man wanted me to hear it, he'd have released it in his lifetime. Yeah. Which that kind of stuff, like hidden recordings and things like that, that's not my thing. What's going to wind up messing me up is if they put shows out. They put shows on DVD because the closest I've ever gotten is the anniversary edition of Purple Rain has like I think 6 or 7 live performances, and it's him and the Revolution. And man, you want to talk about a musical atomic bomb? That band was unreal. I mean, it's basically Ike and Tina on cocaine. But dude, they are absolutely unbelievable. And I'm like, man. I know when Warner Brothers puts this crap out, I'm going to be tempted to watch every second of it, but it's kind of, I tell you what, this is the compromise I've made with myself. I'm going to do my research. And if Lisa and Wendy and Bobby and Fink and who did I forget? Dez, depending on if it's old enough. Shoot, I'm forgetting. Mark. If the Revolution are getting a huge cut of it, then I'll make my peace.
That's fine.
I'll ask Prince's Spirit for forgiveness, and I'll make my peace. But if it's all going to Warner and they're not paying the musicians, no way. I don't need it that bad. I'll just watch Purple Rain DVD over and over again.
This past week, Everlast sat down with Joe Rogan. They had it's a cool interview that they sat down and talked for about 2.5 hours, and that's one of the things he brought up is like there'll be none of that after I'm dead because I just hit delete on the stuff that wasn't good or stuff I don't like. It's gone. There's no vault anywhere that, and he didn't use that term, but he was like there'll be none of that after I'm gone because it's deleted. Stuff that I don't like, and then they made an awesome point in their conversation when just the monumental songs that he was a part of in the late 90s, early 2000s, whether it was with House of Pain or the Waddy Ford stuff, it's like he didn't really have to do anything. Like being a part of Jump Around.
I was going to say, God, the royalties on Jump Around alone will keep him set forever.
And that Waddy Ford, the 2 albums that came out, he's like, I can kind of do what I want. And, makes it to where, I can record stuff and release it as I want to, and the stuff that I don't like, it's gone forever. So, there'll be none of that after I'm gone, stuff coming out.
It's fascinating if you think about it with this conversation. You have a guy that had 2 hits, and I can do whatever I want to. Juxtaposed with the guy that wrote 1999, Purple Rain, When Doves Cry, Take Me With You, all in the course of about 2 years.
Yeah.
Why'd this guy have to keep it? And it's the difference. It's just one of those things we were talking earlier about with, athleticism. If you're lucky enough to be able to do it, that's fantastic, but you do not have to love it.
Yeah.
There are some people that are crazy musicians that it is literally a job to them, and that's Prince. Prince was in the studio every day. What's his name? Oh, shoot. Omar Rodriguez Lopez for the Mars Volta. That sucker, man, for a time, I don't remember how long this was, man, but quite literally, he had a studio down the street from his house, and he would set a clock, and he would wake up at 8 o'clock every morning, and he would go in at 9, and he would work till 5, and that was it. It was literally a 9 to 5 job, 40 hours a week. I'm going to record music. That's amazing. I'm like, golly, man, but it's just, I think that's fascinating to just plug away at it like that because it's who you are. Like, God dang, that's cool. And that's Prince. It's just forever and ever and ever. Like, yeah, man, it'd be cool. I had a joke about Prince a long time ago. It's the best way that I can think to express how much I like that guy. I love the idea of being Prince. And you walk out to the gate at Paisley Park, and you jump in your Porsche, and you turn the radio on, and all the songs suck, and you pull back in your house, man, and go to the studio and record exactly what you want to hear. Then jump back in the car and go get your groceries. It's like if you can't hear it, you just make it. Yeah. But yeah, that's a frustrating thing, man. But I am glad to talk about it out loud because now I get okay, as long as Lisa and Wendy get taken care of, I'm cool. Which, by the way, that was one of the only things I've ever seen on TMZ that actually had a tinge of class to it. I mean, part of it's hard to say class when you are shanghaiing them in the Minneapolis airport. But the guy it was when they were going to, actually, I don't know what airport. It was probably LA, and they were going to Minneapolis after he passed. But they were talking, and the guy was actually, it sucks. The situation sucks what you're doing, but to be put in it reminded me of the sideline reporter for ESPN. I always feel bad for so many of them because it's like, okay, send the pretty girl out there so nobody punches her in the face for asking our dickhead questions. And a lot of the girls are really good at framing the stuff and packaging it well and making this okay, I'm not saying that to him, but I'll say it this way. And the guy actually handled it pretty well. And I guess my favorite part about the whole altercation is he left Lisa alone, which if you ever seen Lisa and Wendy on anything, Wendy's the talker and Lisa's the hearer. Lisa listens, Lisa's just seems anyway to be way more back. And I think Wendy's the one that would beat you up. Lisa's the one that would kill you. That's the best way to explain it. But he left her alone, and that was nice because you could just tell it was like, man, I ain't ready to talk about this. And the guy was like, I understand totally, no problem. And I was like, that's cool, man. Anyway, it's sucky to give somebody credit for doing something crap, but that's his job. He got sent out there to do it, and at least he handled it with a little dignity.
Yeah. Because there's so many of those people that you see on the TMZ stuff that are on there because they seek it out.
Oh, yeah.
And then you catch those people and like, look, I didn't tell you I was going to be here. You just happened to come across me and you get. So anyway, I ain't here for an interview session or a press conference. Just leave me be.
Yeah.
And some people don't take that
it's true.
for an answer.
It's true, and that's the reason that one stuck out. Is it was more like, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Like, good for you, because you're right. People push, and I hate that junk anyway, man. You like ambush people and give them crap because you want to get
soundbite.
Yeah, oh absolutely. Because if I get this one, I'm Whitey Ford singing the blues. I never have to do anything again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think that's not a bad idea either, man. It's like, I don't need to keep all that stuff.
Yeah. So that was my week.
Yeah, man. I ain't been up to much of nothing. Been watching a lot of Netflix and watching a bunch of soccer. It's rivalry week in MLS, and I've got all the ones today recording, so I can go home and get caught up on them. But it's been fun, man. Like, we had Atlanta-Orlando, which I know they're going to insist is a rivalry. I'm hoping we can get away from that when Miami starts up. It's not like Orlando and Miami are exactly close, but at least they're in the same state. So it's like, all right, I'm hoping we can get away from that, just because, not to be a jerk about it, but I've often wondered, because I've spent my entire life being a Tech fan in the University of Georgia State, and Georgia runs it. Georgia wins all the time. And so it has always mystified me why Georgia fans care enough to talk shit about it. And that's my point, is like, what has Orlando ever cost us?
Yeah.
And the answer is 2 points. They got to draw against us once, ever. And that's it. And it's like, man, this is not the team. New York, D.C., these teams have cost us stuff. So those guys are the ones I'm all grumbly towards it. That junk is silly. But the game was good. 1-1 nothing. And lots of complaints about, Atlanta looked so sloppy and they were awful and la-di-da. Well, we got one and they got nothing, so I'll take it. Yeah. If you're playing poorly and you get all 3 points, especially on the road, you take it.
Yeah.
You take it. They're not all going to be master classes in wonderful, beautiful soccer, but the goal was unbelievable, man. It was Barco. Just this crazy little fake move, man, flopped it out to Joe, and Joe didn't even, man, it's just like, I was expecting him to take a touch and then hit it, but he just ripped the sucker first time, and it was like, well, go on then. It was great, man. And then you had Portland and Seattle, which is the most fun game to watch as a neutral. If you just watch it as a neutral, it's great because the fans are crazy and they hate each other, and also they've played like 105 times because those two teams predate Major League Soccer by about 20 years, I think. So a lot of good history. What the heck's my other one I watched? Kansas City and Minnesota, which seems kind of a weird rivalry to me, but it was neat to see it because I like the Kansas City. I almost said the Wizards. Kansas City, who used to be the Wizards and now aren't. That fan base has always been really, really cool. Like back in the day, they played at Arrowhead, the old Chiefs Stadium, and man, it's not designed for soccer. It was, according to everybody, a terrible place to watch a soccer game. Yeah. And they showed up anyway and went crazy, and it was real cool. Now they got them a stadium, like an actual soccer stadium, and that's one I think would be a lot of fun to go to. Anyhow, been watching lots of soccer, lots of Major League Soccer. Not a ton of Premier League, but I've watched some, a little bit here and there. They're just getting started. They're only in week 2, so it's good to keep an eye out there. And poor Man United. I'm not expecting much from Man United this year. Hopefully they can finish 5th. That'll be one better than last year, and that's good. But it's tricky, man, because the gap between 4 and 5 is big. The gap between 1, 2, and everybody else is like, holy crap. Excuse me, goodness. My soup's coming back on me, man.
Oh,
that gummit is so delicious.
I was with everybody else this weekend complaining about the baseball uniforms.
Ooh, yeah.
They were bad, not good.
They were. The nicknames are always fun, but yeah, the uniforms are crap.
And it was just the white that you just couldn't see. And then it was bad enough on the players. It looked even worse on the managers and coaches. Like the I was watching the Mets and the Braves, and some of those coaches come out in all white. So, oh Lord, that's a lot of white.
Yeah, they
shining.
were making that joke yesterday. The game last night, they were like, "Boy, I bet these uniforms are going to be real bright in the sunshine during the day game tomorrow." That's exactly what they were on too, man.
And that was one of the good things worked out for us is the Braves were in all black, which looked okay, but luckily we ended up in New York on a weekend where it wasn't burning hot.
Yeah, seriously.
Could have been a terrible decision. I guess my problem with the way the Braves looked was the Mets too. It's like you had this kind of silvery lettering on the front, and this kind of it's like black on black on the hat. So it just didn't match, and it just looked bad. But anyway, I mentioned all that to bring up the fact that there's something about Braves having catchers named Francisco that are just awesome, and we got Francisco Cervalli,
yeah.
and it's nice to see a guy that wants to talk about guys that want to do this. He wanted to be back.
Absolutely,
and,
man.
You know, a good pickup towards the end of the season, and when you have that time of year when you're going to need 3 catchers anyway.
Yep.
So get him, and
completely
nice
agree.
nice person to have in town.
The pickups, man. Why do I always forget his name? Alex Andopoulos. Man, they were talking the other day about just the Midas touch, and they are not kidding. I mean, the biggest thing that guy's done this year is the contracts he got for Acuna and Albies, because he signed them up long term and for very, very reasonable contracts.
Yeah.
But then, man, you had Dallas who won today, which is great because I like Keuchel anyway, and I like the idea of picking up anybody that's got. I can't really call it late October now because the World Series goes later than that. But anyway, late October experience, you always love that.
Yeah.
But man, he's made some good decisions. This is awesome, man. Like Donnie hit 2 more today. That was real fun. That's the big talk now. It's like, okay, you've got Markakis and you've got McCann and you've got Donaldson. You got to pay somebody next year. Who you letting go? And I hate to say it because I love Donaldson. But Donaldson, for me, since the day we got him, it's like enjoy this while you can.
Yeah.
Because it seems to me that this is the 1-year layover where it's like his next contract is going to be a big contract.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if McCann even wants to stick around. I really don't know. That's a tough one. That's a really good question of being like, well, I know that Donaldson's going to cost you the most. Whatever decision they go with, I'm cool with it. But I'm glad I don't have to make it.
And that was the feeling I got with McCann coming back is that Tom Glavine kind of come back like, well, I'm going to come back and end here.
Yeah, man.
But at the same time, he's like, well, maybe I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
So who knows what they'll end up doing with that.
It's good with me, man. I don't have a problem at all with dribbling out cash to McCann to keep him in town for the rest of his career. I like that guy.
Yeah.
But it's again, it's just a situation. I'm glad I don't have to make that call because I really like all 3 of those guys. And it's like, oh man. But if we do lose Duke Markakis, and we want to keep the great tribute to 22 in right field, man, if we want to bring Haber back, I would love. I miss that kid. I love him. But the outfield, Atlanta's outfield is so strong right now. I mean, you really just can't miss. So it's fine, man.
So it's going to be a good couple of years. Is what I'm looking at.
It's feeling like it, man.
Yeah.
Seriously, I love the idea. I like having so much like really exceptional young talent right in time for Freddie's prime. That just feels so good, man, because it's like, this is awesome. But they were talking the other day about, Ronald Acuna is generating a little bit of MVP talk, and they're right, and he should be, right alongside Freddie Freeman. It's like both those guys are actually in the hunt, and it's like, this is awesome, man. Go on, y'all.
Yeah.
I was telling the man, it never occurred to me. I did not know this. I don't know why I never looked it up. I just didn't. But there was a lady in the stands the other day. This was before they went to New York. And I think it was the Dodger series. Excuse me. And she's got her Venezuelan flag. And I know that Venezuela pumps that. Venezuela is like the University of Miami of baseball. It's not just that a lot of players come out of there. Like, unbelievable players come out of there. Like, all-star level, like, holy crap. Mm-hmm. So she's sitting there with her flag, and it's like, oh, cool, Acuna's from Venezuela. So it occurred to us that the two... if Trey Young was from Venezuela, we'd have the hat trick.
Yeah.
But like the top guy in Atlanta, the top young guy in Atlanta, and the top guy for United are both Venezuelans. Like, well, this is just freaking awesome, man. That's we can build us a pipeline in those sports. That sounds great to me. Let's do it.
Heck yeah.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, on the subject of that, I mentioned him earlier. I'll have to do it again now, man. We're talking about MVPs, man, and I'm not saying Acuna is going to win the MVP, and it would be again because he's the defending MVP.
He did good 30-30.
12 in a row. That's Acuna. Acuna's 30-30, and if he can tag, and there's an outside chance that guy gets to 40-40.
I thought that's who we're.
No, I switched. I switched back to Joe. Sorry,
Okay.
I might. You know what? I might have said it wrong. I apologize. Joe Martinez is the defending MVP of Major League. I think I did say Acuna. I'm sorry, man.
Okay.
So, 12 in a row now, man. The guy's scored in 12 in a row, and he's running on up and running on up and running on up. And I'm not saying he's going to get it because Carlos Vela's pretty much just going to have to take the rest of the season off for anyone to catch him. But hey, man, it's quite impressive. It's just insane. That guy's automatic. I love him. I love it. And it's weird, too, because Joe is far from my favorite guy on the team. But, man, he's the rock star, and it totally makes sense why. Man, when you score 12 games in a row, because it's kind of cool. Like last year, I believe last year he got to, I want to say it was 8 in a row, and I think I think 8 in a row was the record. He tied that last year. This year he got to 8, then he got to 9, set a new record. So everything he tacks on now is he's just breaking his own record. But when you have like most consecutive games with a goal and you're first and second place, that is not shabby.
Oh yeah.
It's like Mike Singletary and like tackles when they started recording like tackles for seasons. I think his junior year is number 1 all time. His senior year was number 2 all time, and his sophomore year is number 4 all time. It's like, golly, Baylor didn't have an offense, man. It's out there the whole game, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's up.
Yeah, that's how we do it, man.
Oh, so
Have a
yeah.
good one, y'all.
Nah.